think we'll wait a few more minutes for some more people to get on.
Sounds good. Julia, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for having me. Sorry, I was on mute and I didn't realize.
That's okay. It took me a few tries to get on to the meeting tonight, so I understand.
Me too. Thank you.
I just heard my 11-year-old say he had a stressful day at school today.
I hope it's not like that every day.
No. Raechel, do you want me to start or do you think we should wait?
No, you can go ahead. I'm just trying to figure out, I don't usually run the slides. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it. Okay, there we go. Okay, you can go ahead if you want.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone to our November GMM. It's nice to see faces. I wish we were all together in person somewhere, sharing hugs and, you know, maybe a cocktail. But thank you guys for signing on. I was asked several times this week, you know, how things were going as president of the Junior League during the pandemic. And, you know, to be honest, it's certainly not what I expected. I'm sure no one expected it, but I truly am thankful for the great team that we have. Our board and our management team are wonderful. Our members are amazing. And I'm just thrilled at what we've been able to accomplish so far. We've really done a lot in a short amount of time under lots of restrictions. So I just want everyone to know that I'm truly thankful for everything that you've done so far this year for the league. I know the board and the management team are, and personally, I just want to say thank you for participating in the league activities that you take part in whatever way you do that. So with that, I will hand it off. And oh, as it says on the slide, you know, there is a lot for us to be thankful for as far as our accomplishments and everything we've been able to achieve. And you guys will learn a lot about that tonight. So I'll turn it over to the next speaker.
Alrighty, not much change since last month on the treasury report. Mostly we've just been spending money on community outreach for our second round of Kids in the Kitchen. We finished that up, finishing up the green sheets for that. So we should have everything all in for the second round. So we should be fully caught up with our grant spends. I think that's about it.
Can everybody hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'm having some computer difficulties. I want to make sure I could hear you. So I'm borrowing this idea from Melissa Kelch. She just had a brainstorming session for ideas for fund development. And it seemed like a really good idea for me. So because of COVID, we can't recruit in our traditional way, which isn't really all that traditional, but it's traditional for us. So I thought I'd reach out to everybody and see if anyone had any interesting or unique ideas to have COVID safe, socially distanced recruitment opportunities. I know we have a small opportunity with the Red Cross potentially coming up that Raechel reached out to me about that I'm going to try to make work. But if anyone has any ideas or would like to chat about it, please feel free to email me. That's my email. And we can come up with something hopefully that can help us bring in some new people to the league this year, even though we can't really meet in person. All right, go to the next slide, please. All right, at the last GMM, we talked about activity tracking. Included in this slide are links. There's a link for active members and a link for new members. If you hit your control and then click on the link with your mouse, it should take you directly to the page. It did work when I tried it this afternoon. If you have a Mac, it's the command button. I don't know if anyone else has Mac. And then if you'd like to see what you've previously turned in, you can click on the link down here that says submission list here, and it should take you to a list to see what all's already been tracked. We use activity tracking to apply for grants and to turn into AJLI so that they can see what we're doing in our communities and how successful our programs are. Last slide, please. And then if you know anyone that has questions about the league or you think would be a good fit for the league and you talk to them and they seem interested, they are more than welcome to email me. That's my email again, or they can call or text. That's my cell phone number. If I don't answer, I will get back to them same day or next day. And I'd love to talk to them about the league and what we can help them with and how they can help us help our community. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm here to introduce our Sustainer Spotlight. Can somebody nod if you can hear me? I know everyone's on mute. Okay. So we are spotlighting Julia today. She was in our newsletter that went out to the Sustainers, and you'll see her featured in the upcoming eJulep newsletter that we send out to the actives. I'm going to just turn it over to her because I'm excited that she can share her story directly with everyone.
Good evening, everyone. As you can see from the dates, I am an old Sustainer member of the Junior League. Would you like me to talk? Is it my turn to talk, Christine, or? Okay, sorry. And it's, I've enjoyed very much my experience at the league. I was invited, as many of you are invited to join the league. I have to say that it is not what I have expected at first. I thought this would be just a social league. Then I realized that this is a volunteer league, a helping the community league. I am very proud to join the Junior League because I learned about being accountable for the actions that we want to achieve, for the goals, and we can achieve them through teamwork. If we set a project, one individual cannot really accomplish this project. If we have a certain vision, we need a community or the organization or the certain committee that's in the junior league to accomplish this project. One person can probably have the vision, but we need the committee to do this and to accomplish this project. I'm going to give you an example. I very much enjoyed Julep's Closet. We do no longer have the Julep's Closet as a project. Never would I have imagined that I would be marking used clothes or stuff. I'm going to call them stuff because whatever would be donated, we would take and mark them and sell them to the community. And from this would be our fundraiser. Then we would, whatever we would generate, we will put it back into the community. We would have to allocate 9 hours of volunteer work. This is the accountability. If we are not able to allocate 9 hours of volunteer work, marking, or it has to be in volunteerism, we would have to pay for the missing times. In spite of the fact that we would say to ourselves, you know, this is a volunteer organization, but you learn that you have a responsibility towards your community, towards the organization. Therefore, you have to act and you have to know that there's a team behind you that's depending on you to accomplish this mission. This is a skill that's a very important skill to learn. I learned this from the Junior League. I joined different committees. The committees that I have enjoyed was the Grant Writing Committee, the Leadership Committee from 2000 to 2001. The first meeting we had in the Leadership Committee was a rally. The rally was to learn the different landmarks in Peoria through a game. You cannot forget the different landmarks if you start learning it through a game. This was really an eye-opener for me. During the provisional class, we visited the premises of Caterpillar. I would not have had the chance to visit these premises if it weren't for the Junior League or the provisional class. I helped with the kids in the kitchen when it took place at the Halt Center. I enjoyed this tremendously. There was also an international night that took place at the home of the Junior League on La Randolph before it was sold. This was the funnest night. I cooked Lebanese food. People have never tasted that before. Therefore, it's also an introduction to people to learn from each other, to mingle with each other. I also built friendships, as I said. It's like a women's club where whenever you see each other, I mean, my heart just warms up to the ladies that I have seen before and mingled with at the Junior League. I do have very, very fond memories. Until now, whenever I see someone with whom I shared a project, it's very dear to my heart. There's one of the things that maybe we can change or tweak a little at the Junior League, and it's probably the two very important issues that are taking place at our time, and that's the issue of diversity and inclusion. If we work more on diversity and inclusion, we could probably attract a canvas of variety of ladies who will help us build a stronger league, at the same time reach out more to our community. Otherwise, this is an experience where it strengthens people in reaching out and helping their communities and build their communities better. At the same time, if someone asks me to volunteer in a different organization, I am ready at any time because of the skills I have learned at the Junior League. I hope I didn't talk a lot.
No, that was fantastic. Thank you so much, Julia. We're going to be able to hear a little bit more from her because she is also participating on our panel. So I'm very excited about that. And I look forward to getting to know her a little better.
Okay, I think it's my turn. I just had some internet issues, so I apologize. So I'm Carmen Umberger, and I am the Member Training and Development Chair. And so I have the pleasure of introducing our Sustainer panel. And Julia is actually a part of that. So she'll get to continue speaking about her experience as we go over some of the questions. But I want to take a minute and introduce the rest of the panel. Feel free to go to the next slide so we can also see who's on the panel as well. So we have Ferrall, Julia, and Sally here. So if you want to go ahead, Ferrall and Sally, go ahead and introduce yourself. Either one of you would be okay with me.
Okay. Am I supposed to talk?
You can talk.
Yep, it looks
Hello.
like it's going to go.
Hello, this is Sally, and I'm delighted to be part of it. And you know, I had to come to Andrea's house because I couldn't get it to work at my house. So this is my age and my computer literacy is problems. So anyway, I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted to be part of this panel. It will be really exciting to hear all the wonderful things you all are doing.
And we appreciate that you were able to Andrea's house and still join us. I was kind of nervous. I didn't see you on the call at first. So I happened to look at Andrea's screen and realized you were there. So perfect. That works out really well. And then Rachael, please.
So just, I'm Hero Hudson. I don't know. I'm happy to be here. What else do you want?
Tell us a little bit about you and maybe some history of the Junior League and kind of when you were an active member in the Junior League.
Sure. So I joined in 2008, maybe 2009. I was an active member just for the 5 years that you stay active before going sustaining. I had met Trish Redman. I don't know if any of you older league members think of that name or familiarize yourself with that name, but I had met Trish, who had introduced me to the league, and I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, so I moved down here. My husband's from Elmwood. When I moved down here, I felt like all of our friends were not my friends. They were, you know, his friends or his friends' wives, and it was just Trish had introduced me to the league and told me it's just a great group of women and you can make some great girlfriends. And so that's when I had joined, and it has just turned into that.
Wonderful.
Everybody I know now has some sort of league affiliation.
Thanks. And we also wanted to congratulate you on your 40 Under 40 award that you have also received. So
yes, thank you. I know that you know, there's a lot of league support. There's lots of leaguers in that group of 40 leaders under 40. So I'm happy to be a part of that with them.
And then my question is going to go to Sally, because I think we haven't heard from her quite as much about this yet. As far as you joining the Junior League, did you have any expectations when you joined the league? And please feel free to tell us a little bit about that.
First of all, you have to know that I joined the league at age 21 in 1962. I joined in December because I had gotten married a year before and finished my last 2 years of college in Williamsburg, Virginia, William and Mary, because my husband was in the service. And my mother, who had been very active in the league, thought it was important because my husband had taken a job with Procter & Gamble in Cincinnati. And she just thought it would be the best thing if I joined the league here in Peoria and they transfer me to Cincinnati so I could get to know the people and meet some friends in Cincinnati, because we knew nobody in Cincinnati. So at 21, I joined the league and finished my schoolwork in January, moved to Cincinnati, and began the provincial course there in February. It was fantastic. I had the best time. I got to know lots of people. And it was a wonderful way for somebody who knew Cincinnati not at all to really get to know the community and to meet some fabulous women. But then an interesting thing happened. My husband got really an opportunity to come back to Peoria. We'd both grown up in Peoria. And so by July, we were both back in Peoria. We were expecting our first child in August. And so I took a second provisional course, sort of. I didn't take the whole thing, but because I had grown up in Peoria and I had a mother who was very active in the community. So I honestly knew a lot about the community, but I took a second provisional course in 1963 in Peoria. So it was one of those kinds of things where I had 2 provisional courses and learned a lot of things about both. But the one thing that was absolutely critical is the making friends. And what I think we forget is that, well, at least I wasn't. You all come in at totally different stages in your life. But I came in as a 21-year-old, 22 by the time I got to Peoria. But anyway, and all my friends were college friends or high school friends. I didn't have any, older friends. And my 3 best friends really early on in the league were 5 years, 9 years, and 10 years older than I was. In fact, the 2 older ones, children, babysat my kids, but it didn't make any difference. And they became really good friends. We traveled together. We did lots of fun things together outside the junior league because we were all involved in something that was important to the community and important to us as women in the league. So I think that friendships and my expectations was that I didn't realize I was going to get to make such a wide group of friends in so many different age groups, but they were all built around what's, I think, the most important thing about the junior league, and that is our ability and desire to give something back to our community. And for that, I will be forever thankful that I had that opportunity with fantastic women. More than you wanted to know, I know, but it's so interesting.
That's great. No, we definitely appreciate all of your different experiences within the junior league and communicating a little bit about your background and how our projects have changed, all of those pieces from your experiences. So next question goes to really anyone, but probably specifically Sally and Julia. Did you all play a specific role or work on a specific project when you were in the league?
You realize that what I did is I started 60 years ago in the junior league, which is before most of you were even born or your parents' age. So, but I was involved in several, in fact, one breakthrough project, which you don't even recognize in the league anymore that we had it. I can't find any data on it at all. But if you remember, well, you all wouldn't remember, but I know you've done your history well enough to know at the end of the 1960s, we were in the middle of the Vietnam War with a whole big drug scene. It was a really big problem. It was marijuana, which we were all in a state about. And I headed a project called Project How. And I can't even remember what HOW stood for, but it stood for something terribly important. And it was the first project that the junior league had done in conjunction, the leader in conjunction with the community agency. That was the YMCA when it was still downtown. And we hired a young man who worked on the YMCA staff, but did drug outreach. And we had a center on by Bradley University because we were sure there were lots of young people that were going to Bradley that were, being involved in the drug scene and so forth. We set up medicine cabinets. Gal, who's back in Peoria again, was a second grade teacher at that point, and we did medicine cabinets to teach the kids the difference between good drugs and bad drugs, and really trying to give some education in the schools and so forth. By this time I had 4 kids, all little, and it was a fascinating kind of idea because I had a board of about 20, 10 of them from the community, 5 from the junior league, and then 5 from agencies that we were trying to cooperate with. So it was a really a different kind of a board than anything I'd done, because I'd done my fair share of junior league at the board, but that was all women and we were all sort of learning together in those days. You have to remember, most of the women who came into the league in those days did not have the skill set that the women today, that you all have today. The opportunities that were available to me graduating from college were teacher, which is absolutely, I think, still one of the finest professions going. Teacher, social worker, nurse. I do not like blood, so I wasn't too good in that area. So anyway, so the junior league was really a training institution for me. And by the time I got through with my 20 years in the league, I'd done most every kind of job there was. I was chair of thrift shop one year. I chaired a new project. I chaired other projects. I was vice president, finally president-elect and president. So, you know, I got a lot of administrative kind of experience. You have to understand that my board, my executive committee is the size of your board today. My board was 20 to 22 people. Every single person who was in charge of a project, because that's how we learned what boards were. So, and today I serve on 4 community boards. A year ago, 2 years ago, I served on 6. That's what I love to do. And I've been really lucky that I've been able to do it. So, you know, community service has been sort of, when you ask what my profession is, I guess that's what I would have to be honest and tell you. Although I did own a clothing store, which anybody who knows me well is hysterical because I hate to shop and I really don't care at all about clothes. But I don't know, it's my midlife crisis and I bought The Whale, which was a clothing store in Junction City, and owned it for 10 years. Did as little as I possibly could about it, except fund it. So anyway, that was my total professional experience. It was not a grand success, I can tell you. So I'm in awe of what you all as women do today. So.
Thank you very much. And then here all are Julia.
I have a similar experience in the sense that when I joined the Junior League, it was also through a colleague from Bradley while I was doing my master's. So I came from overseas, and this notion of belonging to an organization, a not-for-profit, volunteering, is a new notion. My parents volunteered and were very philanthropic, but it's not in the same way, it's not in the same American way that it is when I joined the Junior League. It was also my first year of marriage. I got married when I was 24, and then I had my daughter at the age of 26. My provisional class, I think I was then 25 years old. I was also looking for friendships, meeting people, trying to understand the community and how to fit into this society, to adapt to my surrounding. I learned a lot from the Junior League from that standpoint. It taught me about the environment, especially when I mentioned that we visited the premises, for example, of Caterpillar. So visiting the different places here, knowing how the system works. And at the same time, what I was learning institutional advancement and administration. It was a leadership of not-for-profits. This was in parallel to what the Junior League was doing and to what I was also studying. I benefited a lot from these two experiences. Also, giving back to the community was a very important, it was important for me in my life to feel that I am connecting with people at the same time I am contributing to my community. And with the different committees that I've joined, I enjoyed very much the Done in a Day project, where I don't know if you still have Done in a Day projects. You would be, there's a committee that would choose whatever is needed in the community and would do it in a day. Every month, whether it's packaging things or packages to send to the military, to the army, to send some boxes to the shelters, things that would be done in a day, and you are done for for the month, and you feel that you are very useful by accomplishing this. I really enjoyed this community a lot.
Thank you. I'm going to move on to a new question here. Would anyone like to speak about a favorite memory or project within your time in the Junior League?
Okay, go ahead.
I can start with at least the favorite memory, which has been revitalized again recently. And your president and Amanda have been absolutely miracle workers in order to be able to get this done. But I was president of the league when we first looked at doing a sculpture for the city. And we did it because we wanted to celebrate our 50th anniversary as a league. It was also close to the bicentennial for our country. We thought that would be a great thing to celebrate. And we wanted to celebrate how exciting it was to be part of Peoria and do something really great for Peoria. And with that, we got a grant for $50,000 from the National Endowment for the Arts. We put in, as a league, we either raised or put in some league money to the tune of $50,000. And we went through the first sculpture, which was nationally known, absolutely fantastic sculpture, but it wasn't quite right for the community. And I was lucky enough to be president when that was discovered. And I got to go to the mayor of the city, whose wife was a member of the Junior League and the one who had gotten this all done for us, and tell the mayor that the head of the Civic Center was not going to accept it and it was not going to go through. And I will say that Dick Carver took it very, very well under the circumstances and said, well, maybe you need to look for an alternative or something else to do, because we really want, and we agreed, we really wanted to do a sculpture. And that's when we went to Bladen and got the Stoner tie done, which you all are working, we're all going to work so hard to be able to revamp so that it looks as good as it did when it first came. And if you look at the museum today, as of yesterday, one of Bladen's artworks went up where you all are used to seeing the Gothic couple or Abraham Lincoln. And so it went up on that slab, and another one that are on sort of eternal loan. I don't know quite what that means, but in the art world, that means I think you have them for quite a while, is coming, that's going to go up on one of the plazas up around the museum. So I'm really excited because I think it's something that the league did a long time ago, and that your Andrea and Amanda are working very, very hard to get done again today, that we can revitalize that. So it's an exciting project, but it was really fun project. And then my very best friend became president after I did, and Joan Krupa is the one who got it all dedicated, and it looks absolutely fabulous and still looks great today, though it does need a little renovation. So anyway, that was a fun project, I think.
Yes, I think so.
The end result was great.
I enjoyed the mentoring. I can't say that it's a project, but this took place maybe 4 years ago. There was an initiative to mentor our fellow junior leaguers, and I enjoyed this very, very much. This was probably one of the most enjoyable experiences at the junior league. It allowed me to be to have a relationship with another lady at the junior league, and to empower each other, to listen to, she's much younger, to her perspective, her goals. And I learned a lot from her, as she learned probably from me. But it was really a wonderful experience. Thank you.
have anything specific. Like I can't pinpoint one single memory that really sticks out in my mind. I think I really liked, Julia mentioned the Done in a Day projects. You know, those were kind of one of my favorites as well, because it wasn't something that you had to commit to for a long period of time. It was, you know, oh yes, I'm available this weekend, you know, or this afternoon, and would love to help. And that was how I built a lot of the relationships that I think I have through the league as well, just seeing people continuously. And I feel like with the league and with any really community service that you do, you get what you put into it. You know, I know that there's a lot of employers that encourage or even require some sort of community service. And thankfully I was never forced to do anything that I did in the community. But I think that made me a better volunteer, because I was able to pick and choose what I wanted to be involved in, what I didn't want to be involved in.
Thank you all. I'm going to combine some questions from the question list, actually, in the interest of time, but I think they go really well together. So one of the things that we focus in a lot, at least in my committee, but in general with the Junior League, is about gaining new skills and training women to be successful leaders. So can any of you speak about skills specifically that you learned, or, you know, situations where you remember gaining some really specific skills, and or how those skills have impacted your personal and professional life now that you've moved on to your next adventures?
I can start. I'm already unmuted. The league, you know, when it comes to personal and professional skills, I think the league most of all taught me how to, not only leadership skills, right, which we expect from the league because you are taking on responsibilities. I was on the board for a little bit. You know, you just automatically are forced into these roles where you need to make decisions, and that forces some leadership qualities on you. But also I feel like, you know, I tend to be a little rough around the edges and not necessarily know exactly what the best thing to say is. For those of you who know Chris Coulter, you know, that is the one thing that I always tell her I envy so much about her. Like, it always seems like she knows exactly what to say in every single situation, and it just like comes out of her mouth naturally. I don't even know how that happens, but I think that the league has done a good job of helping me in different kinds of both personal and professional situations with communication and leadership that I think I really enjoyed. What else was part of that question? I think that's most of it.
Yeah, and the other thing is just how it affects your personal and professional life, which I think you referenced as you joined us, the fact that, you know, even our support of you in 40 Under 40 kind of influences that, right?
Yes. Yep. Everything in Peoria, especially, I don't know if it's like this in all cities, but in Peoria especially, I feel like any single connection that you make with another person, there's like only 1 degree of separation to a league member. Everywhere, every committee that I join, every organization that I become involved in, I feel like there's some sort of league representation, which is really cool and awesome to see.
Wonderful, thank you. Julia or Sally? Oh, Julia, you're muted.
Sorry. I learned many leadership skills. Definitely, this is a given, but also how to lead a meeting, how to conduct a meeting through the general membership meetings that we had every month. At the same time, to start a project and to finish it from beginning to end. All the steps, it's like learning how to be a project manager. I also, these are very important skills. How to be very organized. We used to go on trips to Chicago with the league. Believe it or not, when I go to trips with other organizations, sometimes I see the difference in the way. I'm not saying that others are not as organized. No, they are very organized, but there are certain skills that the junior leaguers have that are quite set and very I should say, I mean, I can say that I am proud that I have learned certain skills that impacted me in my personal life, in the sense that I presided different organizations. If someone asks me to be on a board, it's with pleasure that I accept. And I am on different boards, and I like to join boards. I feel that if it's this confidence that I acquired from the junior league, if I did not have or belong to the junior league or had acquired these skills, I would not be as confident to accept. This is how it impacted me on the personal level. Thank you
very much. And then Sally, if you would like to talk about the influence. Yeah, Andrea's unmuting you, I see it.
Okay. I too learned so many skills from the junior league. If you start as a 21-year-old and have, you know, spent your college age having a good time and getting married, etc., I needed to learn a whole lot. And the league, I certainly sat on the boards of fabulous leaders who really taught me a lot about leadership, about the value of serving on a board, what the goals were for boards and how important it was if you were a board member. That I learned some just basic things that you got to do as a board member if you really believe in that organization and want to move it forward. So I think the junior league and doing it with other women really gave you the self-confidence that yes, I could do this. And at least back in my day, there weren't a lot of quote unquote women leaders. We looked a lot to the men and so forth. So, but I grew up in a household with probably one of the best community leaders that Peoria's had. That's my mother, Sally Page. So I at least saw what it could do and how you worked so much before any meeting to make sure the meeting went the way you wanted it to go if you were chairing it. And I really did learn a lot. I probably sat on the board at least 10, if not 12 of the years that I was in the league, and then finally headed it at the end and learned it was a grand experience. I really loved it. And it really was the beginning of, because I'd done the things in the league, my focus sort of became education, and it gave me the confidence to be able to go. And I, you know, you all can laugh, but anyway, I ran for the Peoria Public School Board. I just chaired we'd done a referendum in Peoria in 1975, the one and only referendum that ever passed. It passed by 325 votes, which is about 1 vote per precinct. It was absolutely, and I was the chair of that because one of my best friends' husbands was on the school board and asked me to do it. And that was my real introduction into the Peoria Public Schools, although I had 4 children in the school, so you'd think I know something about it. But anyway, he called me again and said, would you run for the school board? And in my naivety, and I shouldn't have been quite so naive, I said, sure, that'd be fun. It is the year that there were 11 people running for 2 seats on the school board. And one of the people running was the president of the school board, who was well loved by the superintendent, Harry Whitaker, at that point. So he gave him lots of projects to make him look good. And I was just lucky, and I got to be the other person that was elected. But it was, and I spent 10 years on that school board. And it was a real education. It was not always easy for my girls. They did not think I was the best place for me to be. In fact, one of them told me I was ruining her life. But I really, from my junior league experience, first of all, I had the confidence to do it. And secondly, I think I was a better school board member because of the things I had learned in the junior league. That was really how to organize your time, how to really listen carefully to what other people were saying, which is always a problem for me. It was, I'm glad I did it. It was a really fabulous 10 years in some ways. So.
Thank you, Sally, and thank you to all the panelists. We did have lots of other questions on the list, but in the interest of time, I'm going to move us forward on our agenda and use my good junior league skills here to manage the meeting. But I do want to thank you all for being a part of our Sustainer panel. I know it's one of the favorite events that everyone speaks about that we do annually. And I think one of those reasons is really the opportunity for us to hear from the past projects and the things that you all have gained from the league, but really also to help us, and I think this is important now more than ever, to renew our energy in our projects and to renew our energy in our relationships in each other. So I appreciate you all being here, and I know everyone else does as well. So thanks again, and I hope you all have a great rest of your night as you exit the meeting.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Raechel, can you go to, or is it, I don't know who's guiding. You can go to the next slide.
Yep, it's me.
Okay. Cool. So last week, I think it was, we had a pretty fun little social to talk through different ideas to fundraise for the spring. So just in case anyone is out of the loop, we are anticipating or are now planning to not host the traditional frolic in the spring of 2021. So because of that, we still wanted to have an opportunity to help promote the Junior League in the community and hopefully raise funds to help support the operations of the Junior League as well for the remaining of this year and then potentially into next year with maybe some of the ideas that we've come up with. So right now, what we're doing is just trying to capture all of the ideas. So we had a lot of different members sign in to the social. We've also captured some ideas from AGLI and then just other research methods that we've come up with. So we've had about 13 people or so, more than that obviously are part of the discussion, but 13 different contributors to several different ideas. So we're actually over 30 ideas right now that we're going to start to discuss within the Fund Development Committee. So we're going to try and prioritize what ideas make sense, what are realistic for our timeline. And obviously we're not going to delete anything that'll kind of remain in a bucket for future conversations where we need to have them. So once we get it down to some of those good ideas that we feel that we can build off of, then we will report back to the league. We'll first probably report to the leadership team, just so I can be transparent in that. We'll want to make sure we understand their buy-in. And then from there, we'll report back out to the membership and obviously sustainers as well, and just get some overall feedback and buy-in so that we can hopefully move forward in developing a plan. So the goal for this is to have a lot of this documented and prioritized before the Christmas holiday, so before the end of the year. That way, beginning in January, we can really kind of go full force into some of the ideas that we have. Now, to also be transparent, there were a couple of pretty cool ideas that could be launched in the next couple of weeks. So Megan and I are meeting sometime this, I think Thursday, I never know what day it is. So Thursday, we're going to be meeting. So if there's anything that comes out of that discussion that we feel needs to be escalated, as some may say, then we'll make sure to kind of bring up that timeline to make sure that we get everybody on the same page. But for kind of a larger idea for a fundraiser, you can expect to hear back from us probably honestly at the January GMM, but we'll try to update you throughout the holiday period as well, just so you guys can get excited, because there were a lot of good, really cool ideas that have not been done in the community or are kind of a mix of a lot of different ideas that are currently being done. So get excited, because I am definitely excited as well. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to Megan Hutton or myself. And the idea intake, we're going to leave open. I'll put it in the chat. But we're going to leave that open until Thursday, just so if you guys had any last minute ideas, or obviously we're not going to ever shut the gate, but we will turn the form off. That way we can kind of monitor a lot of the and funnel a lot of the other ideas that might be coming in. So stay tuned and let us know if you have any questions.
Thanks, Melissa. So I'm going to quickly talk about our DE&I work that we're still doing. This isn't anything different to say than what we did last month, but we do want everybody to try and take this survey right now. It'll probably take you just a couple minutes, but we want to capture everybody's data so that we can use that when we start writing our goals. So you can either use your phone to scan this code, or I think you can click on the link directly. So if everybody could do that right now, if you haven't already taken it, that would be great. And let me know if anybody has any issues. Just send me a chat. Okay, hopefully everybody had a chance to get through that. If you didn't, keep going. So we're gonna move on to community outreach with Christin.
Hello, everyone. We are going to jump in to celebrate a couple of accomplishments. Our big accomplishment recently is we wrapped up 16 weeks of our Kids in the Kitchen grocery kit. So I wanted to provide some numbers to share that impact we had on our 3 community partners, which were the Dream Center, the Neighborhood House, and Glendale Commons Phoenix Neighborhood. We put together 50 packages per week. We filmed, edited, and embedded into our website 24 Kids in the Kitchen cooking classes. Within each package, we had 3 recipes with ingredients to feed a family of 4. In total of 16 weeks, we produced and gave out 800 Kids in the Kitchen kits with over 9,600 meals. I thought this was very interesting and very savvy on Crystal's part with our groceries and ingredients. We had a budget of $10,000, and we divided that when I did our meals and whatnot. It came down to a little over $1 per meal. That's insane. So amazing work to everyone who was able to volunteer and who cheered us on as we completed this mission of ours. We also, this past weekend, on the next slide, Lakeisha led Done in a Day, where we winterized our garden. So thank you for everyone who volunteered for that. We prepped it so that in spring, we will be ready to plant. And then on our next slide, we've been working on our next committee initiative to roll out. This one right now is focused on our Glendale partners with the Phoenix neighborhood. They applied for and received a grant on our behalf to use to extend our Kids in the Kitchen grocery kits to their community. We previously provided 11 families who had children with kits, but we're also including more of their community members to share our kits with 6 women who don't have children. So we'll have a total of 17 kits. This focus is kind of shifting on building up more of the kitchen skills. So we're going to pinpoint knife skills, how to boil an egg, and really build up some more challenging recipes. We're going to build up each kit to encompass preparing a full meal. So we're going to target some fun side dishes and main courses so that every 3 months we can have a full celebration with a full meal that the children and the women will be able to prepare. For our holiday months, we're going to be targeting 1 grocery kit packaging per month, so in November and December, to share some holiday treats. And then from that, we're going to be doing this 1 to 2 times per month through May. And we are still working on volunteer dates. In general, we're going to be targeting Saturdays, but for our first run, Glendale has some staff shortage that just happened. So we'll be doing our first run of our November kit on Friday, November 20th from 11 to noon. And Lakeisha is working on more of those volunteer details. So we'll have those ready to share with you by the end of the week. So takeaways from this will be, in the months to come, we will have some Saturday volunteer opportunities that will be from 11 to noon. And we're still really open to a lot of ideas on how to expand this impact. So if you all have anything you'd like to share, please send it my way. And that is it for us. Thank you all.
Hey everyone, I know that it feels like we just started the league year and a little early to be talking about our leadership pipeline for next year. But the way our process works, now's the time to start talking about it. It's time to be thinking about what positions you might be interested in for the 2021-22 league year. Had to think about that for a second. So we can get applications in by the middle of January. So that gives the nominating committee time to interview candidates and then get a slate in front of the membership for a vote in the spring. So it is quite a lengthy process. And this sustainer panel tonight was so fitting. You heard about these women talk about the skills that they learned and they developed in the league. It's a great place. It's a safe place that if you haven't had experience managing a committee or serving on a board, it's just a great opportunity where you can participate in those experiences and learn those skills and develop those that then you can take into your profession or elsewhere, as we heard from the sustainers tonight. So on the slide, you'll see the positions that we have available. On the governance board, we have the secretary, the nominating chair, and a director at large. And then also for the management team, executive vice president-elect, treasurer-elect, the member services chair, which is a 2-year position, fund development co-chair, which is a 2-year position, along with member training and development, again, a 2-year position. I would just encourage you all to think about those. If there's something that you're interested in, that you want more details about, feel free to reach out to the individual that is currently in that position. Find out what that position entails, what the time commitment is. If you have some concerns, that's the best person to go to, is a person that's currently filling that role. So just want to get everyone thinking about that. We'll get the application out on the website, and we'll be accepting those applications through January 19th. And just a reminder that this did change within the last couple of years, that league members do need to apply themselves for the positions. I think it used to be the case that someone else could nominate you, but you do need to apply individually. And other members that are currently in management or leadership positions, or even those that are not, if you think of someone that would be a good fit for one of these roles, please encourage them to apply. We need you.
Okay, so as we come to an end of our meeting, I just want to highlight a couple of events and announcements. There is another 21-day challenge coming up in December. If you want to register for that, you can do so on the AJLI website, and you have to do it by December 18th. Please, if you can, follow up with Christin about signing up for Kids in the Kitchen volunteer opportunity. And then also, we're going to be a sponsor for the 16th annual 12 Hours of Giving with the Red Cross. That's like their biggest giving day of the year in Peoria. Well, actually in downstate Illinois. It's on December 17th at the Paradise. And we have committed to having 12 of our members donate. So you can go directly to their link. I have it on our calendar on the website, but there'll be more information coming out about that if you want it. Just want to say it again, congratulations to Hero for her 40 Leaders Under 40 award. And then just shout out our Amazon Smile page while you're doing your holiday shopping this year. Please use this link and then we'll get a small percentage of your Amazon purchase. Andrea?
Thanks, Raechel. You guys did a great job of keeping this meeting to just about an hour. That's pretty awesome. I do have a few things to share. I mean, everything that's on the slide, I won't read it because I also think it's the same slide that I used last month. So sorry about that. But while Sally was talking, I learned a few things. I knew that she and I had the Cincinnati connection. Many of you may not know that my family moved here from Cincinnati, and my husband is a native Cincinnatian. But also, Sally mentioned that she does not like blood. And Amanda Campbell may know this, but my career goal in life initially was to try to be a doctor, but I had to change that because I faint every time I see blood. So now I write about healthcare, but I've also passed out on healthcare assignments. It's a story for another day. The other thing I wanted to share was that Sally mentioned Sonar Tide, and many of you may remember that we are working to restore that sculpture. And those plans are moving along. And I learned earlier this week, we're working with Fisher Stolz. He is a sculptor himself. He's also a professor at Bradley. He will be restoring Sonar Tide with his team. And they're working really hard to use the same kind of paint that was originally put on the sculpture and things like that. And they just, last week, they were at Bourne Paint, which is downtown by the Chiefs Stadium. And they talked to a gentleman there who actually helped make the paint when Sonar Tide was first installed. This gentleman was 16 at the time. So he is very excited about participating. I know this sounds sort of silly, but it's very important for preservation purposes to be able to use the same kind of paint. And we have found someone who should be able to help figure out what that is. So I just wanted to share that. So that's all I have. Thank you guys for a fabulous meeting. I hope everyone learned something and had some fun. I also want to give a shout out to Christin Ferrall. I hope she can hire me someday. She's the most organized person I've ever met. Also, thank you to Lakeisha. We had a lot of fun done in the day. And Megan Kraulick has been leading our Kids in the Kitchen grocery packing sessions. And Megan and Lakeisha are going to take the lead as we move forward with the grocery kits in the future. So thank you to all three of those ladies. You're doing a fabulous job. And that's all I have. I hope everyone has a good night, and I really hope we can all be together in person someday soon.
Me too. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.